Hi, this is John Masse. I'm a student for Full Sail University, and today I'm going to present to you my proposal for the Open Source Ecology mobile communication application. I'm presenting this through Adobe Illustrator because I have a lot of details in here, and as part of the mapping process for this project and what the goals and the types of things I'm trying to achieve in developing this connection between potential users and the project development teams, and also in a means to build future resources for future project groups. Okay, so here in this slide, this is just about the centralized data and social model. Centralized data is a concept that I've been working on with some companies that I've done work for in regards to taking redundant data and communication and moving it and migrating it all together and creating that centralized data source that will then in turn feed out into all other publicly created and accessible communication mediums such as websites, blogs, mobile devices, social media, and the whole nine. So that way the message for these products is streamlined in such a way that the communication is always forward moving. There's no redundant communication. Your Twitter feed and your Facebook and everything else, it's all speaking the same message, and it's always perpetually moving forward, never backwards. Okay. So in this model we have the project itself, and in this case it's the ecology project, or in the open source development. Okay, and this is the big picture, and that's really what this frame is supposed to symbolize, is the big picture, and all these little pieces are the people, because that's what open source is about. It's about people, and it's about interaction with those people, and also keeping them involved. So the goal ultimately is to create an application where the project team becomes the source of the data, okay? And the users and other outside sources and people that can influence the project or supply assets to the project can come on in, point out locations for products or resources and materials, or contribute them or promise them on their own, okay? We have a list of goals to create a unified source of communication with the primary project leaders, giving the development team the most efficient in communication, accessibility, and on-the-spot portability, meaning that while you're on site, while you're on project, and if you're working on something in the field, you don't need to run, grab your camera, grab whatever it is. Everything is right there with you on your portable device, okay? Be it iPhone or a Droid-powered device, you can jump on, you can access it, you can take a few pictures, and you can post them, and then people in the user group or your fan base can easily access them, or be push notifications letting them know that project updates and things are happening, okay? The chance to keep fans closer to the forefront of development process during project development, meaning that your users or the fans will feel more connected with you all the time. They're going to feel that they have in their pocket, that right at their fingertips is the latest updates and what's going on in the project and what types of new things are evolving and how their contributions have been affecting the project overall. Giving the users direct feedback in user group. You're not just talking anymore generalized to a public or just making information available for people to read and see. Okay, you're posting on multiple platforms. You're talking to people on Twitter. You're having conversational feedback and communication, and making a much more personal experience for the user group. So that's going to maintain and even build new users and draw that interest in. It's going to help reach a larger audience that will help meet development goals, and streamline and even automate the acquiring of developmental needs through mobile communication. Okay, and not just mobile. This content that's created through the system, it can also be used on a website. It could be used on for print materials and media and so on. Okay, so I'm just going to move on over to some kind of structural demo here that I've put together. Okay, and this is there's two sides to the application. Okay, you have the project management side, okay, which is not only used to kind of put together the means and the needs and tracking of what you need in front of you all the time for the project or your short-term or long-term goals, but also everything that you're interacting with in this is being made available to the user side or the client side even of the people that or your fans that have downloaded the companion application for this. Okay, so side one, I call it the voice. Okay, this is the project development. This is where you have an inventory system. Okay, where you're inventorying your assets and things that you have. Right away, you can look at fan updates, see what people are talking about, and how they're reacting to some things that are going on with the development team. Let me just zoom in a little more here. You can report achievements, set milestones, and report those. And then even come in and do a little blog entry on like how it was achieved, or maybe some kind of new discovery was made. Budgeting and making sure that the money coming in is matching the current current necessity that you have to maintain your day-to-day. And an asset finder, and there's a concept behind a lot of these that still need refinement, but the asset finder has its whole own geotagging concept behind it. Say I'm a user and I'm outside. Well, you know what, let me save that for a little while so I can show you both sides. Capture and share. Okay, so on the spot video, you hit the button, you're ready, you start taking the video, and boom, instantly you're sharing it. You don't want to. Another goal here is to limit the amount of time we have to spend in creating communicated media. Okay, we want the video, we know we want to share it and get it posted where people can start looking at it right away. Same thing with photography or creating a simple blog entry. Okay. Or maybe ask a question, or maybe we incorporate more direct social media, okay, push to Twitter, push to whatever it is. And the idea is that all these little pieces are connected, okay, so that when there's a blog entry made, there's a Twitter post that's made saying that there's a new entry to be read, or maybe there's a highlight that's taken, maybe the first few characters of that is now created into a Twitter microblogging post. And then obviously you need to be able to configure your application for yourself. By default, I've set it to pounds, U.S. American Standard, and you know, if you want to change from pounds to anything else, or if you need like fluid counters, gallons, liters, metrics, whatever it is. Okay, so in this demo, I've moved on. This is the main. This would be the main project manager screen. You'll load up the application. You can see all the options here. Maybe we even have a little counter for how many updates are currently posted. Now let's say we go ahead and we click on the project inventory screen, and then we come to an inventory manager. In the internal inventory manager, you can report your received resources. Say there was a donation that was made, and you wanted to give a shout out to the person that had made the contribution, or the user that had made the contribution, and you can add that to your total allocations. Report your resources used for the day. At the end of the day, or during your planning for the week, you know you're going to need X amount of resources to get these projects done. You can go ahead and make those reports there. So, and that information and data would be made available to the companion application that would go along with this. You can create new resource needs, okay? Because obviously we cannot see everything going down the road. Right off the bat, if I switch here over to the Open Source Ecology website, I apologize here. Okay, and after digging around through the wiki for this open source project, I've seen a list of wanted items. Okay, so you have metal, stakes, fence posts, other posts, pipe wrenches, sockets, you know, so on and so forth. All these little bits can be cataloged. Okay, say I'm a new user and I have a few hand tools that I'd be able to send to you. Absolutely, I would post that in, let you know that it was coming in the mail, when you can expect to receive it, and then I can go in there. Any new resources that you may need, you can catalog them in there. Okay, maybe even that page is still powered by your direct resources that you've created as entries. Okay, and then you can see the current resource report. The current resource, to see that, that's going to show you exactly what your fans are seeing. Okay, so if there's anything that you think might be missing, or anything that that may need a little tweaking or updating, or maybe this quantity, you can let them know there by updating the report. Okay. So this would be the an example of a report received. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and say we're going to report that we have received some materials. Okay, and this is just a category. So whenever you add a new category, it'll add a new entry in here for either a material, agricultural need, a fuel, maybe some parts. I saw steam engine rings. That was one of the necessities. I would categorize that under parts. And you go ahead and you click materials. And then you get more refined search. Okay, so you get scrap metal, lumber, metal stakes, fence posts, tree stakes, and quantities. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to say we need we're going to update scrap metal. We received a few pounds of scrap metal this week, and we're going to go ahead and report that. Target goals, obviously, we'd want to show what the goal was for the materials for that month that we might need, or whatever it may be. Go ahead and enter the amount and you add it to the inventory, and boom, that just updates the report automatically all across the board, and all your users have the most updated needs. And how this would work would you'd have the material, you would touch it from this screen here, it would fold down and open this little menu. You can just quickly touch in there, add the amount that has been donated, and you hit add inventory. There might be another field in here I think would be good to note, like which user, and developing a specific tagging method for each user that has downloaded the application. Maybe they can create an account, and then you can easily identify each one. And obviously a quick way to categorize in between each one, or maybe like an autofill. Okay, so in these couple of screens, still in the project manager end of the application, obviously this would be a more direct branded element up here, like Open Source Ecology project or something like that, or maybe some logo branding. And say we wanted to see what our fan updates were at the moment, on the moment, okay? And if you come to a screen, it might look something like this, where you have a fan response menu. You get immediately how much is going on in the Twitter feed, okay? So say if somebody wants to donate some resources, you can just simply say, and they're using Twitter, they're at work, you can just tweet at Open Source Ecology Project, this is the resource I have, and then this application will automatically pick it up for you, let you know how many hits or how many people have tweeted in your location or are responding to you or mentioning you. And then you can hit that, and that'll bring up your Twitter feed with all your mentions, and you can quickly start responding to these people on the moment. Even down to Facebook comments, working the similar way. Blogging comments, if people are commenting on blog posts that you've made, either through your website or through a mobile medium, but the goal is to make them one and the same. And even a text platform. So if people are sending text messages, either simple text messages through feature phones or whatever it is, you're going to be able to respond through even a simpler form of medium. I'd like to eventually build in even almost like a mobile chat feature that's almost like phone conferencing, but in a text message platform. So it's almost text conferencing. I haven't seen an implementation of it yet, but that would definitely be an interesting way to get people involved in the project, or maybe even on the field. And the new developments with things like FaceTime and things like that, you can have almost a micro level video conference and text conference where people are asking questions and you're going back and forth with each other. Okay. So now we're going to move on to the application side 2. I call this the ears of the application. Okay, and this is what a lot of the fans would be downloading and people interacting with the project, and this is what they would be seeing and using. Right off the bat, the tough thing about an open source project, I feel, is that keeping people honest. Okay, so when you have people saying, "Yeah, sure, I'm going to mail you this product," or "I'm going to we're gonna I'm gonna tag this geolocation. You can find scrap metal here." Okay, and then all of a sudden that's added to the database as a location to find things. Now it leaves a lot of room for debunking. Okay, and people coming in and making false contributions, which is it can hinder and affect the overall flow of the project. I mean, say we're waiting for 3,000 pounds of scrap metal to come in, it never shows up, okay? Or 2 months go by and this never happens when we could have been, or the production team could have been pushing towards finding more local resources and getting them attained more immediately. So the users will have a contribution rating, okay? Now this can really be anything, but right off, the built-in contribution rating would be a very simple thing. You start at 100%, okay? You have take it at the door. You can come on in and start making contributions or whatever it is, okay? Now say you made a false statement. Okay, we're gonna, we flagged your account, you've made this promise, you didn't come through, you broke your promise, okay, so now we're going to drop your rating. And your rating's going to drop significantly, okay, because there's no time within this process to waste, okay. We don't have there's no unlimited amount of resources that can be tapped into to make up for lost time or missed opportunity. So the user, say their contribution rating has now been dropped to 50% due to a false contribution. We're not limiting, we're not taking away all their privileges completely, okay? They can still follow the project, they can still see what's going on, and then maybe down the road, the users may have access to the project, a means for retribution, okay? I haven't decided on what the means of retribution would be. Maybe it would be an on-site interview, maybe it would be, something that they've sent in materials again, and then they've managed to bring themselves back into a good standing with the project overall as a contributor. Okay. Other than that, we're not going to alienate them from actually being able to see and interact socially with the project, because that wouldn't be fair. Okay. So maybe they broke their promise, and people make mistakes. So we have to still lean on the side of, okay, we're not going to ban people, we're still going to let them interact and see what's going on, but maybe they're just not responsible enough to be able to interact at that level. Or maybe we switch it around the other way. We say, okay, you start off with this rating. If you're at a certain amount, once you've achieved 100%, then you have an open capability to be able to contribute, tag locations, and things of that nature. All right. So before I get into, well, this is going to get more into the relationship between the project management side of the application and the client side of the application, where you can see a lot of the direct navigation up front is changing for the user side. They're able to see the latest project updates. Okay, so the latest things that you guys, either you posted a video, a blog entry, some new photographs, or anything that's going on site on the project, and you're showing those. People can get access to those right away, and that's the first thing. They can view the project inventory, what you currently have. Maybe we have alerts built in where if you're running low on a certain asset, it starts pushing notifications maybe towards people that tend to lean more on the side of being an asset controller, or having larger access to scrap metals or fencing pieces or piping. And it pushes those alerts to them, letting them know, look, this project is in need of this asset. What do you think you feel like this month or within the next couple of weeks you'd be able to send something? Not so much asking, but just notifying, look, the project is in this state right now and is looking for this type of help. Okay. Recent achievements. So it's pretty much the flip side of what we see on the project management end of the tool. We can see the current budget, so that's open. And the users also get the ability to tag asset locations. Now this is a twofold maybe even threefold, okay? So a user, say I'm out and about and I find some scrap metal for really cheap. I tag the location. I found an asset in my location, geotag it, so it now can be accessible through GPS, okay? So we get the latitude and longitude of location, and no matter where you are in that vicinity. Now this works if we look into the future. If we have this database of tagged locations, and maybe some of them are debunked, okay? Someone visited it, it didn't exist, okay? It's tracked back to the user, they're flagged as as a repercussion of a false location, or maybe the owner of the location no longer is giving those materials, whatever it may be. This is a constantly updating process of tagged locations to find assets, or even trading assets or anything like that. And down the line, if more people are building more of these open source eco projects, they're able to see right away, just from over time, these tag assets that are being developed, where resources are available to them. Okay, so they know right away, right out of the box. They download this application. They can start finding assets that they're going to need to get going. And the team as well can also use it. So the main project team, if there's people outside of there just looking around and maybe just doing some local research on some things or key places that they need, they can just tag those locations and always have them in a database without having to write it down on a piece of paper or a notepad. The idea is an all-encompassing and project management system. And then direct links to videos and media that's being posted by the main project leaders, and obviously the users will also have the ability to configure their own settings as well, doing direct conversions of weights and amounts into whatever platform that they may better understand. The project inventory. Okay, so say the user comes in, they select the project inventory, see what's going on. They're greeted with a few options. They can either donate materials, they can view the current resource report, what's on hand, and what's available to the development team immediately. And they also have a list of their own contributions if they've made any. And this is also to give the user the thought and put the thought in their head, like, look, I can contribute to this. Okay, so not many people, more people would contribute if they were asked. Okay, and it's having that there, having my contributions there, and just having a blank page as a beginning user is just screaming out, I should probably try to make a contribution to this project. Now say they move in and they want to donate materials. This screen is powered by every material that the project manager has made available to it. Okay, so you have so as in a matching part, we have materials, agricultural fuels, and parts. They click materials, and we're going through the same example. Scrap metals made available to them, and the user's going to see a little bit different when it pops down. Okay, they're going to see the project has X amount of material readily available for them to use. They have a total. They're looking to achieve Y amount, and how much are you promising to donate, and when are you going to donate it? Okay, and then you can set your promise. Okay, now this is going to generate a report. The report's going to come back to the project management team, and then as you go, you can start. The project management can take these timelines and these assets from key rollers or high-end users of the application and involvements in the project, and start and make better plans down the road. Okay, and you can make better forecasts. So maybe you didn't know there was going to be so many materials available to you down the road or for 2 months from now. Okay, but now like a lot more options are being made available, and maybe more developments can be happening within a 4 to 8 week time span than originally planned. So it takes a lot of the surprise out of the feature. All of a sudden you get a phone call and these guys are saying, okay, we've got this and this, can you use it? Okay, so we're already saying right down the line, this is what we need, this is what qualifies, we're qualifying the data, and we're bringing the user to the forefront of the project. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So in a nutshell, we come back to the idea of creating an open source project, creating a primary means for the voice of the project, and keeping it as open and social and available to everyone as possible. Everything going on in the project, it's been said and documented. It's the goal to make sure everything is known to everyone. It's open source. That's what it is. Okay, and with these tools, users and the project team developments will become more intertwined and more centrally located using a centralized data and social model platform. Thank you very much for your time. Again, my name is John Masse, and thank you.